Welcome to Half 2-4. Today in the issue, grandiose plan of David Beckham in action. How Inter Miami, with help of a sly scheme, prepares the return of the legendary trio MSN and free transfer Neymar. In its turn, Manchester City formatted transfer of the most expensive British player in history, having laid out for Elliot Anderson a cosmic sum. Sandro Tonali coordinated contract with Tottenham because he wants to play only under leadership of Roberto De Zerbi, and Manchester United, with tears on eyes, officially let go his star, which they bought for crazy money. About all this and much other we speak right now. Manchester City blew up the transfer market, having formatted a record deal in history of the club. Officially, citizens reached full agreement with Nottingham Forest regarding transition of 23-year-old midfielder of national team of England, Elliot Anderson. Fixed value of the transfer will constitute crazy 135 million euros without any additional bonuses or hidden surcharges. Himself, the football player already coordinated a long-term contract by term until 2031 year, and the medical examination is planned directly in United States, where Anderson now protects colors of national team on Championship of World. This transition makes Elliot Anderson the most expensive British player in history of football, having allowed to him to bypass previous record of Jack Grealish and Declan Rice. In general list of most expensive signings of English football, this deal occupied second step, yielding only to historic transfer of Alexander Isak, for whom Liverpool laid out to Newcastle record 145 million euros. New head coach of City, Enzo Maresca, who headed the team after departure of Pep Guardiola, made Anderson his main tactical goal for renewal of middle line after free transition of captain Bernardo Silva to Madrid Real. Bosses of Nottingham to the last held defense and rejected two starting proposals. But after night round of negotiations and personal request of himself, the halfback capitulated before financial pressure of Manchester giant. Separate dramatic layer in this history performs Newcastle United, leadership of which now literally bites elbows and cries from despair, watching behind this madness. Magpies forcibly sold their homegrown player Elliot Anderson into Nottingham Forest in summer of 2024 year altogether for 41 million euros to urgently fit into tough rules of financial fair play of Premier League. Who can think that altogether in 2 years, this guy will turn into the most expensive Englishman in history of football? Financial genius of Foresters worked on maximum, because pure profit of Nottingham Forest on this resale constituted colossal 94 million euros. This transfer is called to give Manchester City colossal volume of work in center of field, because Elliot Anderson possesses incredible vision of court, splendid dribbling on speed and capacity single-handedly to drag ball from depth into attack. His universalism will allow Enzo Maresca to use player as on position of attacking halfback, so and a bit deeper, completely controlling tempo of game. If honestly, Anderson truly is a wonderful and phenomenal football player who outgrew level of middle peasants, process involuntarily arises question whether or not will repeat he fate of Jack Grealish. To play first violin without pressure for Nottingham Forest and go out under crazy pressing and requirement to win in each match for Manchester City, this is completely other cosmic level where for each mistake you will be criticized by all world media. Write in the comments whether we'll be able Elliot Anderson to justify crazy price tag in 135 million euros and whether will become he new leader of midfield of Manchester City under leadership of Enzo Maresca. Madrid Atletico formatted one of the most intelligent and most profitable deals of this summer, although for this Spaniards had to capitulate before requirements of leadership of PSG. As report Marca, transfer saga around 25-year-old South Korean midfielder Lee Kang-in ended by compromise on mark of 35 million euros. Madrid club very long tried to show off and save, proposing starting 25 million euros. Process bosses of Parisians quickly returned Spaniards to reality, having shown to them official request from Turin Juventus. Financial director of mattress makers Matteo Alemany understood that excess bargaining through 10 million euros will lead to catastrophe and signed financial requirements of Perez. Necessary to recognize that Atletico here incredibly was lucky. because to receive football player of such scale for 35 million euros in modern realities, this is true transfer theft. Besides colossal marketing influence on Asian market, Lee Kang-in possesses fantastic playing talent, which he right now demonstrates on Championship of World. Head coach of Madrid team Diego Simeone considers Korean as fundamental reinforcement and new brain of team, which will close position after departure of Antoine Griezmann. Huge role in this deal played iron concrete word of himself, the player who categorically refused to consider option with Juventus, since dreamed to play precisely under leadership of Cholo Simeone and tired from constant rotation at Luis Enrique. Currently, clubs complete signing of legal documents because marketers of Atletico hurried to present new superstar during preseason commercial tour in Seoul, where team 9th of August will play friendly match against Manchester City. Manchester United officially loses his main leader and irreplaceable captain, whom they bought for crazy 55 million euros. But in reality, no exhale, because speech goes about Andre Onana, and on Old Trafford through this transfer hardly whether someone will pour at least one tear, unless only tears of joy. As reported insider Fabrizio Romano, Mancunian's coordinated new loan of 30-year-old Cameroonian goalkeeper into Turkish Trabzonspor. Onana generally does not enter into plans of head coach of United Michael Carrick. Therefore, leadership decided to get rid of goalkeeper still before beginning of preseason camps. This time, Trabzonspor not simply takes Andre even will pay to Mancunian's fixed sum for itself, the loan, and completely will cover his rather large wage. By cause of such lightness, imparting became iron concrete position of 23-year-old Belgian Sene Lammens, who won competition and became undisputed #1 in Manchester. Onana they bought in 2023 year as elite successor of David De Gea. Process series of his epic and productive mistakes forever undermine trust of fans. To leave such football player with huge salary on bench for substitutes would be too toxic for dressing room. Therefore, bosses simply clear space. By that more, in Turkey, Andre feels himself wonderfully. Past season, he helped Trabzonspor to win bronze medals of Super League and win Cup of Turkey, having become true favorite of local public. Turin Juventus is close to formatting of one of loudest and at the same time most pragmatic transfers of Italian Serie A. By our information, Old Lady reached principled agreement regarding conditions of personal contract with 27-year-old French forward of Paris Saint-Germain, Randall Kolo Muani. Forward already during several weeks holds firm word before Turinese and agreed on annual salary in size of 5 million euros. Himself, the football player, still at end of January, clearly determined for himself, priority to return to Turin, where he successfully performed in loan in first half of 2025 year. And for sake of this transition, he even went on serious financial sacrifices, having agreed on substantial reduction of his Parisian salary. In contrast, from crazy price tags of English Premier League, financial side of this deal looks much more grounded. Basic transfer value, which demands Paris Saint-Germain, constitutes 35 million euros. Although in 2023 year Parisians bought Frenchman for cosmic 95 million euros, now his price collapsed almost thrice. A depreciation value on balance of French giant constitutes around 30 million euros. Sale for this sum will allow owners simply to come out into zero by documents of financial fair play and avoid pure losses. Process Juventus, which has limited budget through non-exit to Champions League, tries to close deal by his specific cabinet scheme. Sporting director of Turinese Cristiano Giuntoli craves to knock down fixed sum and proposes to Frenchman structure in form of loan with iron concrete obligation of buyout to fix final check on mark around 30 million euros. Parallel Italian club discusses options of inclusion in deal of Kefren Thuram or Jonathan David to maximally decrease volume of pure cash. Currently, negotiations find themselves in most active phase. A club's shake out last legal details. Milan officially launched large-scale transfer process on European market, having sent first official proposal regarding his main priority into attack. As confirmed insider Fabrizio Romano, Italian giant entered into active phase of negotiations with Paris Saint-Germain regarding transition of 25-year-old Portuguese forward Goncalo Ramos. Authoritative sources, including publication La Gazzetta dello Sport and Gianluca Di Marzio, disclosed financial frameworks of starting package. Milan sent official request on sum a bit less 40 million euros as fixed payment, while Parisians want to receive for their forward around 45 million euros with account of bonus additional payments. It is expected that parties rather quickly will find compromise in this range. Such activity of Rossoneri completely is subordinated to personnel requirements of their new head coach, Ruben Amorim. Portuguese specialist builds new system of game 3-4-2-1 and demands young, mobile, and physically strong center forward who knows how aggressively to attack space behind backs of defenders. After completion of stage of career of Olivier Giroud in club position of 9 is absolutely naked, analytical algorithms of selection department of Milan confirmed that Ramos ideally fits into model of Amorim. Himself, the football player, who in 2023 year transitioned to Paris for 65 million euros, currently finds himself in camp of national team of Portugal on Championship of World, but already gave full consent on moving to Italy, since craves to receive regular practice and be leader of project. Powerful agent Jorge Mendes already over day finds himself on direct connection with leadership of Milan, shaking out last legal details of long-term contract. Milanese try to act maximally lightning fast, since in race take part yet several wealthy clubs, and any hesitation can lead to another monetary interception. So clubs of Premier League force Italian teams to act instantly and long not to bargain. A then will be, as with Inter, whom simply destroyed Chelsea on transfer market. But about this we detailedly told in previous issue. Can view, we all detailedly told. Friends, if you watched until this moment, then subscribe on channel. To you, not difficult, and to us, pleasant. And while you subscribe, we move further. London Arsenal, which officially launched aggressive assault of transfer market, having aimed at one of best midfielders of modernity. As reports main English insider David Ornstein in publication The Athletic, Gunners made official proposal to Newcastle United regarding transfer of 28-year-old Brazilian halfback Bruno Guimarães. Leadership of London club tried to act through authoritative intermediaries and put out on table request in size of £55 million sterling, what in European currency constitutes around 64.3 million euros. Process this financial step of Arsenal instantly ran on tough and uncompromising refusal from side of leadership of Magpies. Newcastle officially emphasized that sale of captain and main talisman of team even is not discussed. Head coach Eddie Howe categorically against this transition because club of this summer already lost Anthony Gordon, who transitioned to Barcelona. That more, Magpies now from loss found himself midfielder Sandro Tonali, but about this we detailedly will tell later. Loss yet so, and Guimarães, who now protects colors of national team of Brazil on Championship of World, became wood for Newcastle, true catastrophic blow. London Tottenham ready to blow up English Premier League with mega transfer, completely having changed his internal rules. For exclusive information, Spurs reached full agreement with 26-year-old Italian midfielder of Newcastle, Sandro Tonali, regarding long-term contract until 2032 year. Sake of this transfer, Tottenham completely breaks his traditional tough ceiling of salaries and agreed to pay to Italian over £275,000 sterling on week. Himself, the football player already gave full green light on moving to London, since dreams to work under leadership of Roberto De Zerbi. New helmsman of Spurs, personally convinced Tonali that will build around him renewed center of field. Process on level of clubs, cabinet bargaining turned into true war because leadership of Newcastle turned out extraordinarily tough negotiator. Londoners already twice applied with official blitz requests, proposing for halfback £80 million sterling. Moreover, during second attempt, Spurs even not raised sum, simply naively asked Magpies to review their decision on what instantly received cold shower and categorical refusal. Newcastle clearly fixed his price tag and not will let go Tonali less than for £100 million sterling. Magpies have strong legal position through current agreement of player and nowhere do not hurry. With all that, Tottenham finds himself in ideal economic form thanks to commercial incomes of stadium. Therefore, club already prepares third improved proposal with account of bonuses to close deal before beginning of camps. Write in the comments whether is worth Sandro Tonali record £100 million sterling. American League MLS finally blew up world football space. Already confirmed officially, as we and earlier informed, Inter Miami for free signed legendary 34-year-old Brazilian defensive midfielder Casemiro. Former star of Real and Manchester United completely coordinated all papers and concluded contract until December of 2028 year, sake of what rejected cosmic financial proposals from Saudi Arabia and from 3 European clubs. Process. This signing is only beginning of grandiose plan of David Beckham, because behind curtains of league prepares main bomb of this summer return of legendary trio MSN and transfer of Neymar. All 3 slots of stellar players, designated player and Inter Miami on this moment are filled, and now unlimited salary receive Lionel Messi, Rodrigo de Paul, and German Berterame. Process bosses of Miami jointly with leadership of league prepare commercial package, which will surpass case of Casemiro. In MLS exists rule of target allocation funds, TAM, which allows to sign stars of world scale and bypass of slots DP if their official salary by documents of league not exceeds limit around $1.6 million on year. Precisely so, Miami formatted transfer of Casemiro. By papers, he receives modest for his status salary. Process his real financial package completely is compensated behind backstages thanks to commercial structure of club and shares from future stadium Miami Freedom Park. Since free slots DP, there is no Miami not will violate regulation, and Neymar will be signed by this same scheme of Casemiro on small official salary. Advertisers and sponsors ready to cover Brazilian with billions, as only he will reunite with Messi and Suarez. First cabinet lever is big contract with Apple TV and Adidas. Of his time, Messi attracted by percentage from sale of transmissions, MLS season pass, and sale of shirts. To Neymar will propose analogous exclusive percentage from new contracts, since brand MSN in Miami will generate crazy views through all world. Also, Inter Miami already staked separate sponsorship contracts with big blockchain platforms. Brazilian will become face of these crypto brands in USA and Asia, what will cover 90% of his real financial appetites without attraction of club budget. Last bonus is real estate in Miami, where part of deal can become granting to Neymar and his brand of commercial areas and land plots in new mega complex around stadium. Negotiations of Neymar with Cincinnati finally broke off. Since this club for 3 months of talks and not sent official written proposal of contract, what disappointed entourage of player. Current agreement of forward with native Santos is calculated until December of 2026 year, where he already scored 6 goals and gave 4 assists in 15 matches of this season. While Neymar emotionally returns on field after injury of calf on Championship of World in match against Scotland, in USA real hundreds of millions already stand in queue under cabinet of David Beckham. My personal forecast, we of this summer obligatory will see Ney in Miami, because all cabinet financial puzzles came together ideally. Write in the comments whether believe you in summer transfer of Neymar to Miami, and whether we'll be able Casemiro to bring iron concrete order in defense of American club. On European transfer market, flared up grandiose cabinet scuffle, final of which shocked many. Still yesterday, leading media detailedly analyzed sly triangle between Madrid Real, London, Chelsea, and Italian Como, where was planned sly transit of Argentine talent into England sake of lowering of price on Enzo Fernandez. Process reality in last moment completely broke this ready script. Main insider of Planet Fabrizio Romano issued exclusive, here we go, having announced that Como officially bought Nico Paz back at Royal Club for crazy 60 million euros. A all scheme of grey resale into London, Chelsea completely is annulled. All this combination spun after that. How Real Madrid activated his primary right of reverse buyout of 21-year-old Argentine for €9 million. President of Spaniards Florentino Perez put to Como tough ultimatum. Or Italians pay for their main star €60 million straight right now, or club puts out him on open auction in Premier League. Rich owners of Como, Indonesian billionaires, brothers Hartono, whose joint wealth is evaluated in over $38 billion, together with head coach Cesc Fabregas, calculated all risks. They found internal financial reserves and capitulated before requirements of Madrid, having laid out on table full €60 million to retain leader before historic start in line of champions. Florentino Perez came out from this game absolute winner because Real fixed €51 million of pure profit, even not moving player to Spain. By that more, this transfer to Chelsea remains absolutely impossible, even if Londoners now will come with check on €90 million. Publication Diario AS confirms that himself, Nico Paz, arranged true riot in cabinets and blocked initial plan of Real. Position of midfielder turned out steadfast, since he categorically refused to go in Chelsea, where last large-scale rebuilding under leadership of Xabi Alonso and completely absent European Cups. Paz chose stable playing practice in Italy instead of status of another young talent on bench of substitutes in London. Except of that, Real legally blocked Como possibility of third-party resale in Premier League, having prescribed in new agreement tough clause by which Real can return Paz already in summer of 2027 year for fixed €80 million. Friends, thank you for view, and if to you like the issue, then do not regret a like and subscribe.